Hello traders, in today's video we are going to go over reactions to volume spikes. This is the video for anyone who likes short-term trading or scalping. Let's do it. Alright traders, volume spike analysis. I've talked about volume in the past. I've talked about it, written about it in my book called Gravity, which is on price action volume, and I've also made videos on it in the past. Gravity is linked in the description below if you want to go get it. What we're going to be looking at today is what typically leads to a continuation, what typically leads to a reversal after a volume spike occurs. So I'm not going to be actually saying, hey, volume spike, short-term reversal will probably occur. What we're going to be looking at is historical volume spikes and then looking at moves in the present and then determining whether those moves will probably continue higher or lower. It'll make more sense once I show it, basically. Here's what we're looking for. I see basically in this consolidation phase, we have just about a low here, just about a high here. I'm seeing strong buying, which means that I should be probably thinking that this uptrend will more likely than not continue. What I'm looking for is a strong amount of buying anywhere around here. The reason for that is I want to see a strong amount of enthusiasm for the buyers to push price higher around here, because that would mean they would probably push the price higher, much, much higher. When we see that large surge in buying here, any bearish pullback here would probably be a good time for us to think about buying ourselves, because a typical pattern that you're going to see in any kind of uptrend, downtrend, whatever is this. Let's say we see an up move, right? We see price, consolidating a bit. It's just kind of doing its thing. Nothing really that crazy. Now, for this sake, imagine this white line that I'm drawing down here is volume. The volume on this move is very, very strong, and then the volume on this isn't. I'm not even going to draw it. It's like nothing. But then what we see is, let's say price goes down to here, and then price says, guess what? Revisits the high. But when it revisits the high, it actually has more volume than the previous candle here. That's telling me that there is a large amount of interest for buyers to push price higher. What probably will occur is price might dribble down a bit and then continue higher. That's a common pattern because we see that there's a large amount of enthusiasm for the buyers here, which leads to that continued uptrend. Okay? All right, let's go take a look. And there it is, right there. Just could not have scripted this better if I scripted this at all. I mean, look at this. Large amount of buying here. This is just so bullish. When you see a pattern like this, strong buying, and then strong enthusiasm again, and then a weak pullback here, this is just screaming, buy me. And there you go. I mean, price rises, not surprisingly, because there's so much enthusiasm for the buyers to keep buying at higher and higher prices. So price does its thing and continues to go higher, as you can see here. Let's stop the video here. So what we see is I want to see a strong amount of buying around these 6700s, and if I can see that, a strong volume spike of around this magnitude here, or around this magnitude here in the, what is that guy, 32 million, $26 million, 22 million, 20 million, 22 million. Anything in the tens of millions around here in buying is probably going to lead to a continued price move higher. However, if I can see price, let's say it goes up a bit, then goes back down, and I see a large amount of selling here, then that will probably lead to lows. Let's see where volume spikes first. We see a large amount of selling. Now, here is what you do need to look out for when determining, do I want to buy or sell? If price does revisit these lows, we want to see volume around that size or higher than that size to tell us that price will probably continue going lower. Let's see what happens. That's all the volume they could muster. That's nothing. This is like a few $1 million. I mean, just really nothing at all. This is very weak selling and a pretty good sign that price is going to go higher. Why do I say that? Well, if there's a large amount of selling here, I would think that any price move here where price is actually quite bearish and supply is greater than demand, then we should see a large amount of selling here and price would probably go lower. That didn't occur. Because of that, this is bullish to me. Again, price tries to go lower on no volume. This is still bullish to me. Still no volume. I'm not believing this kind of weak down move that's got no buying or selling to it. So that's why I think that price will probably rise. And there you go. That is the volume spike we were looking for. We see a large amount of buying here. This is the time where we should be thinking about buying because price will probably end up going higher. Why will price end up probably going higher after this? Well, there was a large amount of enthusiasm to buy here. We then see that buyers are willing to buy at these higher prices here. So I'm thinking that it wouldn't be crazy for price to just spike up soon. And there's a spike up right there. That occurred because I saw that a lot of people were enthusiastic to buy here. We get really nothing happening. Good time to buy. And then you can make money on that profit right there. Again, I think the price is probably going to go higher than that because, let's pause it here. This is even greater volume than before. A lot of people want to buy, and I'm seeing really, really high volume here even before the high hasn't been broken. This is very strong enthusiasm of the buyers. I believe them. And look at that, what just happened. Right after we say that, price goes up 1% from that spot. This is looking good. All right, so we see some strong buying here. Let's see if we can continue to see another strong buy here, because that would probably lead at this point to a continuing move upward. And there you go, just like perfect when I had asked for it too. The sign for us to buy would probably be anywhere from this candle, then pullback. You could have, if we had bought here, 1% hello. This is a really great amount of buying too, right here. This is $12 million of buying here, which is near a high. This is showing me strong enthusiasm of the bulls, and price goes higher. So this looks good. Yeah, this does not look bearish to me yet. So there's no I mean, let's take a step back. When do we want to short if we're trying to reversal trade? This is not when you reversal trade. This is suicide to try to short this. Why? Well, we're seeing so much enthusiasm. There's so much bullish enthusiasm here. There's no reason for us to try to do anything fancy and try to pick a top here. When people want to buy, let them buy. You know, if you try to prevent them from buying, then you'll be forced to buy in a liquidation of your short. And there is the move of all moves that this video was leading up to. I knew that move occurred eventually. Didn't remember where though. Let's do a little walk back of, you know, what is going on before this craziness. Strong continued buying, and just buyers are willing to buy at higher prices here. Volume spikes around here. Volume spikes around here. Price is probably just going to go higher, and it does here. Now let's do analysis of these new prices in the 7,000s. Looks like we have an established high here, and we have a new low around. Okay, new low is being printed by the minute. New low around here. What I want to see, oh, this is a perfect opportunity. Not a lot of selling yet. Let's see if we can get price to go a little bit lower, then get some more selling. Still not a lot of selling. Heavier selling here. Okay, here we go. Ooh, did you guys see that? We have some. How do I explain this? Okay, so we have a strong amount of buying here, where price actually goes up 0.45% on a decent amount of volume, not a lot of volume, but this is more volume than I've seen in a long time for the bulls, for the buyers here, and I'm seeing some stronger bullish volume here. This is looking a little bit more bullish, not crazy bullish, but definitely a little bit more bullish. I'm just saying not crazy bullish because there's just not a ton of buying, but there's enough buying for this thing to kind of continue. And continue it does, as you can see there. How about sellers? What are the sellers doing here, volume-wise? Well, really just nothing's happening. You can see volume is just not really telling me anything. It's just kind of staying flat. You can see there's no volume spike that's like 20 times the volume moving average or some $20 million buy or sell. So until I see that, I don't really want to make a read and say, hey, price is going to go here, price is going to go there, because the buyers and the sellers haven't really done anything to note yet. All right, price, how long are you just going to consolidate here and do nothing until you do a large volume second attempt at a high or large volume second attempt at a low, and then we can actually talk? There you go. That's something. Yeah, so I was more bullish here because we have strong buying here, and then just no selling. Seems like people are just more wanting to buy here. And then I think that a great spot to think about actually buying yourself. This is 2020 hindsight. Pun absolutely not intended. Strong sign to buy is actually we get that pullback off of strong buying volume here. And what happens? Price goes higher. This is great right here. This is a great short-term profit. Have we seen this? We see great bullish enthusiasm near a high, and then we see a sell-off that's not really that strong of a sell-off, and then price just goes higher. And price goes higher again. Now, if we can see strong volume around here, then price will probably keep going higher. And we do. We see some strong volume here, and price goes higher there. We can break 7,000 if we see strong volume around here. Is this strong enough volume? Last part of the video. Do you think that price in the short term breaks the high or just dribbles back down? 3 seconds. In the short term, the answer is no. Price didn't break 7,000 yet. This is not a lot of buying volume. Not really. I mean, I kind of set this up, but look at the amount of volume transacted here by the buyers, and then look at the amount of volume transacted here. It's really not much. Price goes down about 0.7%, and then price doesn't really go higher until we see some stronger volume up here. And there's the 7,000 break. I think that the best thing to do in this situation is this doesn't convince me. Nothing here convinces me that price is going to go higher. What does convince me is this move right here. Now, why? Well, look at the amount of buying that was transacted here versus was transacted here. There's more buying occurring here near price high, and that buying is around the size of the buying around here. And then we see strong buying up here. Now, if price goes back here, price will probably rise. If price goes back there on a strong volume, that is. If price goes back there on weak volume, then price will probably not rise. And look at this beautiful. There is no buying volume. There is no enthusiasm here. This is a lack of any kind of volume on a second attempt at a price high. This is a terrible sign for the buyers. Great spot to even think about shorting. Just no one's interested in buying here, right? There's just no volume. I mean, am I crazy? Or yeah, price falls naturally. Price fell because we're just seeing not a lot of people wanting to buy at these prices up there. So price falls. I'm seeing a lot of people want to sell. This looks actually very bearish right now, like incredibly bearish. Just ton of bearish volume spikes. I think that any price move higher at this point would probably be a good time to short. Yeah, this is looking quite bearish. Price is going to fall, and price falls and price falls more. This was so bearish because look at all of these. Look at the enthusiasm of these sellers here. They're very enthusiastic to sell, and when we break it, they continue their enthusiasm right here. So no reason for me to call this anything but bearish. Still bearish. I don't think that this is going to reverse, and we keep going lower. Why does this keep going and does not reverse? Strong volume here. Lack of bullish volume here. Strong selling volume here. Price keeps going lower. That's going to do it for today's video. Let's go to the current time right here. Perfect. This has been a 1-minute volume analysis. And to recap, what we look for is we get a price top, we get a price bottom, and then we want to look for the follow-up volume, also known as the second attempt at a price top or a price bottom. Look at whether there is enthusiasm of the buyers as price goes higher. That will determine whether price will break that high or not. And 2, at a price bottom, determine whether there's a enthusiasm to sell from the sellers near that price bottom. That will determine whether that bottom will be broken or not. When you see a large amount of selling, such as here, and then another large amount of selling, that is not a good time for us to buy. No. When you see a large amount of buying here and then just more buying coming up here, this is not, around here, a great spot for us to think about shorting. So always do a volume analysis, and happy trading.